everybody, and welcome into the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com alongside the Trentonians George O'Gorman, Mike Samsel with you, getting set for this week's Group 3 Central State Championship matchup, as it will be the Hopewell Valley Bulldogs taking on the Lawrence Cardinals out of TCNJ here at Friday night on 107.7 The Bronc and 107.7thebronc.com. And George, coming up later on in the show, we will have an opportunity to preview all the matchups in this game, but this really should be something special on Saturday night.
Well, it would be something special simply because it's two Mercer County teams in the championship game, head-to-head. We were always excited whenever a Mercer County team got to a championship game. Now we've got two of them, so Mercer County's guaranteed a Central Jersey title, and it'll be the second in a row for Mercer County, following on the heels of what John Adams and the Nottingham North Stars did last year when they won the Central Jersey Group 3 over Neptune with a big effort in the second half led by Luke Westerberg. And amazingly, that was Mercer County's first Central Jersey title since 1989. And now we've got a guaranteed Mercer County champion 2 years in a row. I mean, a few years ago, Mercer County football was being demeaned by a lot of people around the state.
Yeah.
But I think that Hopewell Valley under Dave Caldwell and the Lawrence Cardinals under longtime coach Rob Radis have both had an outstanding season. In a way, it's a shame that, two great teams, two great coaches have to go head-to-head, and only one will come out the winner. But the winner in the long run is Mercer County football.
Yeah.
That's what I think. It's really impressive that we've got two teams from Mercer County, which, let's face it, for a long time was always, anytime they mentioned the Mercer County team, the North Jersey papers especially would mention a Mercer County team playing for a champion. They would say, well, Mercer County hasn't had a title in 25 years. So now it'll be two in a row, and that's impressive. And it just shows the upswing of Mercer County football.
Yeah, it certainly does. Last night, George O'Gorman and I were at a 12th Man Touchdown Club. We had an opportunity to sit down with both coaches from this game. Out here at the 12th Man Touchdown Club for the Mercer County Football Show, alongside George O'Gorman, Mike Sampson with you, being joined right now by Lawrence head coach Rob Radis. And Rob, certainly, I know it's been an interesting week for you. Earlier on this season, you got your first ever playoff win. Now it's the first ever state championship game between two Mercer County teams. It's really something special these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's, our approach is sort of like we're playing a common opponent, whether it be Thanksgiving Day or a week later. That's kind of our approach. It's an 11th game. They know us, we know them. So that mystique of playing a foreign opponent is kind of gone. And I think it's kind of all business on both sides right now for the Hopewell Bulldogs and Lawrence Cardinals.
The kids obviously are as up as they would ever be if you were playing Middletown South or anything.
Neptune or whomever, So I think that's kind of a neat part of it. I think with that also comes a lot of familiarity. So they know us, we know them, and they know our athletes, we know their athletes. Usually kind of who the kids are, we know every one of their kids, and they know every one of our kids. So it's kind of unique.
Well, one of the things we're out here for, not only previewing the Group 3 Central State Championship game, but celebrating the Lineman and Player of the Year award, and you have both of them.
Very fortunate to have two co-players of the year for Lyman, Cameron Kitchen, and for, back or offensively, Samon Mitchell. So both of those guys have tremendous seasons and both very deserving of it.
You got some outstanding players, some outstanding seniors, and those two have been great leaders.
They have really turned the program around, in my opinion. We went from 3-7 when they were sophomores to 5-5 last year. To progressively getting better this year. We're at 10-0 right now. We're looking forward to the next change.
Was it an easy decision deciding that Thanksgiving was probably not the best idea?
Once one of us won, I had questions about it, but once both of us won, it was done.
Right.
It just didn't make any sense to me. So if football won and we lost, I think we play it, and vice versa, we play it. But with both of us winning, we don't play it. If we both lost, we played it.
Rob, you've been around a while, Mercer County. You don't show your age, but you played in Lawrence.
Yeah.
You know the history of Mercer County football. Now you're in the championship game, the first ever two Mercer teams playing. What does that mean for Mercer
It's
County
hard to
football?
believe it's the first time it's ever happened with two teams and just weigh it, the stars align. What are the chances that our bracket in Central Jersey 3 is going to put them on one side and us on the other? We could have been on the same side, right? What are the chances that we're both going to kind of run the table and get in this game? There's a lot of what ifs. It just seems like everything's lined up the right way. So,
and it's two teams. Your first year you got a playoff win. Now you go for 3. They had never made the playoffs. That's storybook stuff.
Storybook stuff, absolutely, and there's that connection, the football connection with me and my family. My kids go to school there and all that good stuff. So it's fun. It's all good.
Down to the game. Who's one guy you got to slow down?
One guy from.
Is there one guy you got to slow down?
I can't give you one, but I'll give you Geis and Yuska are tied, I think, and Fellows isn't far behind, and Wiley's right there as well. So we've got our we have our hands full, no doubt about it. They're very well coached. They're good up front. They do some great things on defense. They're stingy. They're gap sound. So we have our hands full. We know that.
You had a chance to see that the other night at Ocean.
I've seen them about 4 or 5 times this year. So got a good
But
feel.
they seem to be getting better.
They dominated that game. They absolutely dominated. So it was interesting to say the least.
Well, you mentioned a lot of firsts, but another one was Hopewell Valley, a Mercer County team, going down and winning in the short conference. George and I were saying it hadn't happened in the 90s. It's been a long time since it's happened, if it's ever happened before. So that's quite a feet as well.
It is. Kudos to them. They got the job done. To me, the game was never on the line. I know it was 14-14 at half or whatever, but Hopewell was just enforcing the will upon them. And I just never thought they could stop.
Now, living in Hopewell, you know a lot of these kids. You've seen them come up.
I'm active in the Pop Warner board in Hopewell. I coach my son's Pop Warner team in Hopewell. They coach his son's team, albeit different levels. We see a lot of each other throughout the season. So, hey, the old adage is that you have to be willing to coach your own because you can't coach other kids.
But for a program that's only 10 years old.
Amazing.
I mean, it's come a long way.
Great job.
And maybe good, even better days may still be ahead.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Time will tell.
We've been joined now by Dave Caldwell, the head coach of the Hopewell Valley Bulldogs. Dave, I know you and I have had an opportunity to talk this year. You're probably tired of talking to me already, but if you're talking to me this much, it means a pretty good season's out.
Yeah, we're playing football in December, and our kids are really enjoying it. We look forward to the experience and the game on Saturday.
The interesting thing, as I was telling Rob, you guys are only 10-year-old programs.
That's it, 10 years. That's it. And we haven't had many winning seasons. 6-4, 5-5, and they come this far. It's new territory, but it's a lot of fun, man. We're having a great time, and like I said, look forward to a very competitive game against bordering town, Lawrence.
Yeah, have you gotten better? I mean, you beat Ewing in the first game, then you went to Ocean and won a game at the short conference, which I can't ever remember a Mercer County team doing in the playoffs. And now you're playing, your neighboring school. Have you seen your kids just get better every game?
As the coaches say, I feel like we've gotten better, but I don't think we've played our perfect game yet. And that's what we want to do. We want to continue to get better and get better, and we hope that we can, we peak at the right time, which hopefully will be this Saturday, and play our perfect game. But we'll have our hands full with a very talented Lawrence team. But yes, we've gotten better in all phases of the game, I feel.
Having last week off, big deal, little deal, no deal?
No deal for the kids. I think sometimes it might be a big. We have, as coaches, we have more time to analyze things,
right?
And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's just makes you lose a little more sleep.
Yeah.
But I think it hasn't affected us at all. We practice a few times from 7 to 10 o'clock at night in order to get used to the weather. Gave us more time to watch film. So it was good. It was good. It was like a bye week for us. So.
You got a lot. You got so many weapons on that team. I mean, you remember Austin Fellows, but then you look at the guys that don't really get a lot of recognition, like a Kyle Horahan. Oh, this kid has stepped up unbelievably. Joey Immordino for a sophomore. He's running the ball well. Andrew Yuska, Wiley. I mean, Big Chief Lane
Meyer. Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many kids. Have some of them surprised you what they've done this year?
I'm not sure if they totally surprised me, because at the end of the last year, I knew that we had a talented group. I knew that we could have a special season. We just needed to put all the pieces together. Brian Homan is a fantastic outside linebacker. You got Kyle Horahan. We got a lot of guys that, like you said, don't get a lot of press, but they do their part. They do their 1/11th, and when their number's called, they're ready to play.
Any of them surprised you what they've done this year?
I think maybe a little like Kyle Horahan. He's leading our team in tackles right now. He's our middle linebacker. He's a fullback.
He's some big interceptions too.
Yeah, he's 6'1", 205 pounds, and he is. He's a hell of a football player.
You got a number of kids that can play at the next level, I think.
I think so. Last year, we had not one person go on to Division III football even. And this year, I think we have a handful of kids that could play at the next level in 1AA, maybe even higher.
Who surprised you? Excuse me. Who surprised you among those kids? I mean,
Andrew Yuska. Andrew Yuska didn't get many carries for us last year. You know, I thought Al Khazi did a good job. But Andrew Yuska, I think with Todd Smith's schemes up front, how he utilizes them with the threat of the pass and the play action, I think that opens up things for Andrew Yuska. He's worked his tail off in the offseason in order to get better and to improve. And he's having a heck of a year. You know, he's really, and I think even you guys and the media, you noticed from week 1 to week 9, he's gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about pieces a little bit earlier on and all the pieces coming together. What was that last piece that you feel like kind of brought the whole thing together?
Offense coordinator. I think that we needed to really score points, and Todd scores points. His offense scores points. I mean, I knew we had the quarterback. I knew we had the running back. We have the pieces up front. You know, that's always tough at the high school position to find a lot of offensive line. We have a lot of guys that work hard and can do the job. You look at our record over the past 4 years. If we scored 21 points or more, we're 30 wins, 10 losses. We're a 4-year, now 5-year playoff team. We need to score points. I think we've always played consistent, tough defense, physical, fly to the ball, discipline, and all the things that you would like from a defense. But now we need to score points, and Todd has come in and he's done much more than just score points. He's motivated the kids. He's truly an excellent coach and really utilizing, I think, some of the talent that we have.
Familiarity, how much is that playing into this matchup? Bordering towns, these kids known each other since they were little. Does that play anything into this?
I don't think it plays anything into it. It's a football game. A lot of these guys did actually play in the Lawrence Lightning together. Some of them played in our Hopewell Valley Pop system together. I think they know each other. They respect each other. They're going to play hard against each other. And I don't think familiarity really plays a role in it.
That's Dave Caldwell, the head coach of the Hopewell Valley Bulldogs. Don't forget, coming up on Saturday night on the WBCD Sports Network, we will be live out at TCNJ for the Group 3 Central State Championship game. You're watching the Mercer County Football Show presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, and also by the Trentonian. Dave, thanks so much. Best of luck coming up this week, and we'll be back right after this. Thanks.
St. Francis Medical Center's new walk-in clinics are now open in Hamilton and Ewing 7 days a week. Now, when that unexpected cold or flu pops up and you can't get an appointment with your doctor for 2 or 3 days, you can visit St. Francis Medical Center's walk-in clinics in the Hamilton ShopRite on Route 33 or the Ewing ShopRite on North Olden Avenue. These new walk-in centers are manned by a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant, and they can give you a prescription when you need it most. They even provide immunizations and physicals, and most health insurance is accepted. No insurance? No problem. Visits cost as little as $49. Appointments aren't necessary, and most of the time there's no wait. St. Francis Medical Center's walk-in clinics, now open in the Hamilton ShopRite on Route 33 and the Ewing ShopRite on North Olden Avenue, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. till 3.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, and also by the Trentonian. Be sure to check them out online at Trentonian.com. Saturday, 7:30 is the scheduled kickoff. Now there's a couple games coming up earlier on in the day, so if we don't sign on right at 7:15 on 107.7 The Bronx, trust me, stay tuned. The game will be coming up. It'll be on 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com. Sean Lerman and George O'Gorman will have all the live play-by-play of the Central Jersey Group 3 Championship. Should be an outstanding game. We had an opportunity to sit down with both coaches last night at the 12th Man Touchdown Club, both Dave Caldwell and Rob Bradis, and I thought both guys had some interesting things to say during that.
You know, it's a real close relationship, two neighboring communities. A lot of the kids played football together, coming up in youth programs. Rob Bradis lives in Hopewell. In fact, as Dave pointed out, a number of the Hopewell Valley players are neighbors with Rob Bradis. Rob's son will be moving into the Hopewell Valley program next year. So, I mean, there's a good, close relationship. In a way, that's the only bad thing, that it's two Mercer County teams, two great coaches, two programs that have struggled. Lawrence had never won a playoff game until this year. Now they put together 2 impressive wins. Hopewell Valley had never made the playoffs until this year, losing out the last 3 years by a combined total of like 20 points. in PowerPoints because they really didn't have an offense. And I remember, as Dave Caldwell said, what's the big difference? Todd Smith.
Yeah.
And the offensive package. Dave has always had an outstanding defensive program for, throughout the 10 years that he's, since he created that Hopewell Valley program. And this year they brought on Todd Smith, who, let's face it, with the running backs that Todd Smith has had over the years when he was at West Windsor South, topped off by Brian Schoenauer and going back to the days of Ryan Lupo a few years ago. Mm-hmm. He's had outstanding offensive teams, and they know how to move the ball. And, it's going to be interesting to see how they can go against the Lawrence defense with Anthony Amarada and Keith Mason. They do an excellent job, veteran coaches. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it should be an outstanding matchup. We also do want to give a congratulations. Last night, the Mercer County Players of the Year, Co-Players of the Year, and Co-Linemen of the Year as well. Saquon Hampton and Samai Mitchell were voted as the Co-Players of the Year, and the Co-Linemen of the Year were J-Ron Brown and Cameron Kitchen. And really, as competitive as this year has been in Mercer County, that's probably the only really fair way to do it.
Well, I thought about it as it went on. The one, I don't want to say, I guess, one of the disappointing things was Hopewell Valley didn't have an honoree.
Right.
But, look, Hopewell Valley's got some outstanding talent. There's no question that Andrew Yuska, their outstanding running back, really has had a miraculous season. I mean, he's really a key to what they've been able to do. And Drew Wiley, I mean, he's only a junior, and really he's got big-time potential, this kid.
Yeah, he really does. He's getting some Division I looks.
He is. And he's got good size and great hands. Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, Hopewell Valley, if you put the players on the list, but that's probably because Samai Mitchell, Cameron Kitchen, Nick Falkenberg have generated most of the media attention for the Lawrence Cardinals. Hopewell Valley has spread it out. I mean, you talk about guys like Kyle Horahan as a linebacker. You talk about, Drew Wiley,
Lane Meyer, Miles Davis.
That's right. I mean, there's just a lot of guys on that Hopewell Valley defense. Maybe because I've seen Hopewell Valley a few more times than I've had an opportunity to see Lawrence. But, a guy like Kadeem Mitchell, Kadeem Neal, who had been at Notre Dame, had gone to Don Bosco originally. He's really added something to that Lawrence defense. And Cameron Kitchen, I mean, he's outstanding as a defensive back. And 2 weeks ago against Carteret, when he put on that 44-yard touchdown move, Mike, you had to see that. That would be a touchdown that should be, if they had a highlight reel of Mercer County football, that would be right near the top because he came down, made a spin move between two players with an unbelievable move that you would only see on the NFL highlights.
Yeah. And
went for a touchdown. And, there's a lot of outstanding players on that Lawrence defense. A kid like Jordan Fleming, who's got 12 sacks.
Yeah.
Jordan Fleming he's got to be no bigger than 5'8". Mm-hmm. I mean, he controls inside. Got great moves off the ball. I mean, it's really a great game. And in a way, it's probably good that they didn't play on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Because that might have taken a little bit away from, the media. I'm just saying the media focus, but the attention that they're going to get in the championship game.
Right.
It's great. It's exciting, and having covered all of the Mercer County teams that have ever played in a championship game since the playoffs were started back in the 70s. This is it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's very exciting. And we mentioned, you kind of start to look for edges in a game like this. Who has the edge where? And when you break down the matchups, it's really hard to find any edges on either side because this defense for Lawrence, again, you and I have you saw Lawrence once. I've yet to actually see them in person. But you hear about the stories and you see some of the film and such. They are unbelievable on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, that Carteret football team is a good football team, and they blew their doors off.
And they came right out, scored on their opening drive, and I think Carteret may have contributed to their own demise. They came out, coach swinging a baseball bat. We've got six shutouts. Mm-hmm. Nobody's been able to get more than 100 yards rushing or something on us. Lawrence came right out and went right down the field.
Yep.
before before people got settled, got their hot dog and coffee and were sitting down, it was 21-0 Lawrence, and they just took the heart right out of Carteret, put some hits on them, knocked the quarterback out of the game by halftime, hit him so hard he had a little bit of problem breathing, catching his breath, so they replaced him. And I'll tell you what, Lawrence was impressive, and I can't even say it was any more impressive than what we had seen the night before when Hopewell Valley went into Ocean Township, and Ocean Township was another ball club that was riding high because they were a shore conference team. They were the number 3 seed,
Undefeated.
They got smacked around by Hopewell Valley, which wasn't intimidated at all. I remember Dave Caldwell saying how those kids were, the Ocean Township players were lined up across the field and kind of glaring at Hopewell Valley. Hopewell Valley kids didn't even notice it. To them, it's just another football game. And, if anything, Mercer County football this year has, improved its image in what it's been recognized as here in Central Jersey, considering, Mercer County has always had to take a backseat to teams from Monmouth County, Somerset County, and Middlesex. But Mercer teams, did an outstanding job. Trenton would have had had another outstanding chance, but first time the Tornadoes were in the playoffs, and it was all new to them, and but then South Brunswick the following week got blown out by Hunterdon Central, which will be playing for a championship this weekend as well. And we can't not talk about the Nottingham North Stars. I mean, had they not fallen behind 21-0 against Colts Neck, they were able to come back and eventually lost 28-19. That could have been who knows, we could have had 3 teams. The North Stars were certainly good enough.
Yeah, they certainly were, and that was a good football game as well, that Colts Neck Nottingham game. So we have a lot of good football teams in the area. It's really been an impressive Mercer County season. And we talked about edges. We talked about how even things are on the defensive side when you have Cameron Kitchen and Jordan Fleming, and you look at players like Kyle Horahan and Lane Meyer and all the stars, Brian Hohen, across the defensive side for the Hopewell Valley Bulldog side. So you move over to the offensive side because both of these teams don't surrender a whole lot on defense. So you start to look, where are their offensive mismatches? There's a lot of stars on the field on both sides. We talked about Kadeem Neal, Falkenberg, Samai Mitchell, Andrew Yuska, Mike Geis. But again, if the defense comes out, plays hard, usually defense wins out in a game like this over offense. I truly don't know what to expect. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a shootout. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a tight defensive game. I have no idea what to expect.
I have no idea what to expect either. I mean, look at back to semifinals. We had no idea what to expect in those games. We were just hoping that they would, stay close and maybe pull it out at the end. Instead, they dominated the game. Lawrence dominated and Hopewell Valley dominated. I mean, it's unbelievable. If you were to poll all the coaches in the CVC about who they would pick in this game, I'll bet you it'd come out dead even.
Yeah.
Really, because, some say that, Austin Fellows has gotten a lot of notoriety. He's coming off a 1,000-yard season last year, had a 1,000-yard season this year. Nick Falkenberg has pretty much been not in the spotlight. But there are coaches that tell me Nick Falkenberg is an outstanding quarterback, and if Lawrence can get a little bit to go with him next year, because he's only a junior, I mean, he's going to have another outstanding year. And, hey, look, when we were here Labor Day weekend, previewing the season, getting ready for that opening game with Allentown and Steiner, I mean, who would have expected that we'd be going into the second weekend, or the first weekend, actually, in December, with 2 Mercer County teams and playing for a championship, and the county guaranteed a Central Jersey title for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah.
And it's been a great year.
Yeah, really going to be something special. Again, coming up Saturday night, we'll start the Trentonian pregame show 15 minutes before kickoff on 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com. We'll be right back. You're watching the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com.
The Gator Jerry Blavitt. And are you looking for the best local news coverage, the best sports coverage, both Philly and New York sports, and the best high school coverage? Then look no further than the Trentonian. It's the only local newspaper covering Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties 7 days a week. No one does it better than the Trentonian. It's coverage you can count on 7 days a week, From Levittown to Burlington, Hamilton to Florence, Trenton to Newtown, it's the Trentonian.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com alongside of the Trentonian Short Joe Gorman, Mike Samsel with you, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, and also by the Trentonian. Be sure to check them out online at Trentonian.com. Again, coming up Saturday night, 107.7 The Bronx, 107.7thebronx.com. Scheduled kickoff is 7:30. Scheduled pregame show start is 7:15. Again, we'll see with how the games go beforehand. If you tuned into 107.7 and you're still hearing music, trust me, stay tuned. We'll be coming up very shortly. Sean Lemon and George O'Gorman will have the call of the game, which should be an outstanding one. And George, it is now that time to put on the expert hat, make a prediction, pick a winner in this one.
I don't know about any expert, but, you know, I could tell you right now that Hopewell's going to win. In 5 minutes from now, I could tell you Lawrence is going to win.
Yeah.
I really have no idea. I mean, I look at different things. You know, when it comes to Mercer County football, I guess I fashion myself as somewhat of an historian, having been there for so many games. You know, I look at the Hopewell Valley sideline. You got Jimmy Kowalski. He's like an honorary coach. He was coaching the Ewing defense, and when they won two Central Jersey titles, you know, and he's been kind of like an honorary coach. I guess he's been a good luck charm for the Hopewell Valley Bulldogs. He's been on the sidelines there. You've got Todd Smith, the offensive coordinator, who took his West Windsor team, you know, to the Central Jersey Group 4 championship a few years ago. And Lawrence, you know, I remember Rob Radis when he broke in, when he, you know, had been an assistant under Len Weister. You know, I mean, Lawrence has had some great coaches over the years. Mm-hmm. You go back to the days of Ed Shirk, and then you got Len Weister and Rob Radis. And Rob Radis' staff pretty much has always been, you know, Lawrence graduates, guys that have played at Lawrence and have come back and, you know, are on that staff. You see a lot of the great alumni from Lawrence, you know, following that team. Scott Bruner, the only, well, I'm not saying the only quarterback, but yeah, the only quarterback from Lawrence to have gone on, actually from Mercer County, to have gone on and played in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been there. And, you know, they've been getting John Nalbone, Brett Brackett, a lot of the great, you know, former Lawrence High stars have been following this team. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's great because Lawrence, this program goes back into the late 60s. They had, you know, they had one of the longest unbeaten streaks in Mercer County back under the days of Ed Shirk. I think it went like over a period of like 3 years. They went like 21-0-1. And, they've had some great football teams. Had never won a playoff game, and I was there for a number of their playoff games when they lost some heartbreakers, like that game to Ocean Township when Brett Brackett threw a touchdown pass and the referee called it back because he said he didn't have, they hadn't blown the whistle. So I remember a lot of those great, you know, great, I mean, excellent games, outstanding games, just didn't turn out the way Lawrence had. I guess, you know, the sentimentality I have is that I like Lawrence to win this game.
Yeah. I think there's one key matchup in this game because we talked about how even everything is. The one matchup that I'm going to be watching for this entire game is the Lawrence secondary and how they can slow down and how they can cover the weapons on the outside that Hopewell Valley has. Drew Wiley has made that play so many times, whether he's coming from the right side slot or whether he's coming out of the fullback position. He catches the football incredibly well. Mike Geis catches the football incredibly well. I think that's going to be the key matchup in this game. If Hopewell Valley can move the ball through the air on Lawrence, I think that gives them a slight advantage.
You know, you mentioned two Hopewell Valley receivers. Mm-hmm. You've got a lot more than two receivers. Sure. You know, you've got Lane Meyer, who basically gets his notoriety for what he does on defense. We've seen him make some excellent catches, mm-hmm. you know, in pressure situations. Wenner, is it the
Mark Wenner?
Mark Wenner.
Yep.
This kid's come up with some big-time catches.
Ben Matheny.
I mean, there's a lot of weapons in that Hopewell Valley arsenal. And if they can just give Austin Fellows the protection, and he's been getting it this year, mm-hmm. and should he throw an interception, don't let it, you know, hurt you, because he's done that. I think when he throws interceptions, they come in groups.
Bunches, yeah.
So if he can avoid that. But then again, I mean, who's to say Nick Falkenberg isn't as good, isn't the best, one of the best quarterbacks? He's certainly one of the best quarterbacks in Mercer County, one of the best in Central Jersey. And we're talking about a kid like Kevin Murphy at West Windsor North, who threw for almost, 3,000 yards this year? Well over 2,000 to, I think, set the all-time Mercer County record for most passing yards in a season. I mean, hey, it's been a great year for Mercer County football, topped off by this guaranteed Mercer County team winning the NJSI Central Jersey Championship.
Again, coverage will start on 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com. Scheduled for a 7:15 pregame show, 7:30 kickoff. If you tune in, you hear music still playing, stay tuned. We'll be coming up. We're just a little bit delayed by some of the games going on before then. Remember, the last game of the night is that Hopewell Valley and Lawrence game, and it should be an outstanding one.
Even the game that precedes the Lawrence Hopewell Valley game, that should be an excellent game too, because you're going to see two teams playing in that championship game that knocked off Mercer County teams to get there. You'll have Colts Neck, which knocked off Nottingham to get in, playing against Brick Township, which had to rally in the opening round to defeat West Windsor North.
Yeah.
Two teams that got there, having had to defeat Mercer County teams. So, all in all, it's been a great year for Mercer County, and it'll be topped off on Saturday night when Hopewell Valley and Lawrence play for the championship.
Next week on the Mercer County Football Show, we'll be recapping someone winning a state championship. It'll just be a matter of who. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's edition of the Mercer County Football Show. Thanks to both Rob Radis and Dave Caldwell for joining us on the show. Thanks to our sponsors, the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, and also the Trentonian. Again, 107.7 The Bronx, 107.7thebronx.com, 7:15 Trentonian pregame show, 7:30 kickoff between Lawrence and Hopewell Valley with the Group 3 Central State Championship on the line. Until then, for George, I'm Mike. Thanks so much for watching the Mercer County Football Show. We'll see you next week.